Today we're taking a look at Milwaukee's new M18 FUEL belt sander. This is a pretty nice belt sander. I have some discrepancies with it, but let me know in the comments later what you think. So this is an 18 by 3 inch belt sander. It's very easy to change the belt on this. All you have to do is you pop out the lever on the side and the belt easily removes. Just like that. It slides back in. But before we slide it back in, let's take a look at the plate. The plate on it is very smooth. It's going to allow good contact with the wood when you are sanding. Now this is compatible with all of Milwaukee's M18 batteries. Milwaukee states with this belt sander that it is equivalent to an 8 amp corded belt sander, which testing it out is pretty accurate. On the side, there is a little rotary dial that has 1 through 5 on it to adjust the speed on this. But what I would also like to see on this, instead of that little rotary dial, is a variable speed control on the trigger. This offers a lock on the trigger, so you can hold the trigger down, and on the side there is a button that you hold in and you can release the trigger. So you don't have to hold the trigger in all the time and then just click on the trigger again to disengage the lock. The handle, they have 2 adjustments on it. One slides back and pushes the handle back into the unit, which is going to be great for storage. Or if you want, you can slide the handle out and have the handle extended out a little bit further for sanding. This is going to be a preference, of course, you know, which way you want to have it. Now, on the other side, there is a dust collection. Milwaukee claims that it can collect up to 80% of the dust that is discharged from this. There is a blower in this mechanism right here that shoots the dust out, and you can also hook this up to a vac, and it comes with a attachment for a vacuum, and this is like Milwaukee's air tip vacuum system, so it can go from like 1 1/4, I think 1 7/8, and to a 2.5 inch diameter of hose. And they give you a dust collecting bag if you don't have a vacuum. It does an okay job. It clips right onto here. It has the zipper to empty out the dust material. Now adjusting the belt is very easy on this, and all you have to do is you have this little knob on the side, and it is very easy to adjust the belt on this. It's not sensitive. I know on some other belt sanders it can be like really sensitive. You just give it just like not even a quarter turn and the belt can go all the way to the other side. You can tune this thing very nice to your standards of how you want the belt to be positioned on the bottom of the sander. Runtime on this, you're going to get maybe about 45 minutes of runtime on a 12.0 M18 battery. I hooked this up to the vacuum. It does a great job when you have this hooked up to the vacuum. There is one thing that I was getting. I want to know in the comments below if anybody else who has this belt sander, if they've had this issue. When I had it hooked up to the vac system, it was going great. It was sucking all the dust, and then every once in a while I would get a little static shock on my hand when I would be holding the trigger down. Now when I pressed the lock button on the trigger and just kept it like that, I wasn't really getting a shock. When I took the vacuum off and just used the bag, I would not get the static shock. You know, I know that you can get static shock when sanding stuff and everything, but it was pretty, like every couple seconds it was a pulse. And you know, I'm standing on a mat and I have protective shoes on, and I'm still getting a static shock. It was kind of crazy, and I don't know if it's really because it's really dry in my shop. That is one bad thing that I have found with this belt sander. So like I said, let me know in the comments below if you've had that happen to you or not. It has 2 nice LED lights, one on the front, one on the side of where you're going to be sanding. When I was sanding, I did find that I'm looking over the sander quite a bit because it's all on the right side, and you got to kind of watch when you're sanding, because I'm used to another belt sander, and it just seems like you don't have to always be leaning over the project you're sanding on to see what you're doing. But I found that with this belt sander, I was doing that a lot more, which isn't bad, but it makes you, after a while, you're sanding, you start seeing spots that you missed, and you're like, I thought I went over those, but you really didn't, because of how the belt is positioned on the unit. But all in all, it has pretty good weight to it. So belt sanders are going to be heavy because you want the pressure, the down pressure of the weight of the unit to be on the wood, and it'll help you sand a lot faster. I found it kind of bulky when hooked up to the vac system, but that's going to happen on anything that you hook up to a vac system. You're just going to have a little bit of extra weight to the unit, and the hose is going to be pulling on you a little bit more. I did find that the hose, when attached to the back of the unit, the clip on it is great. It clips right on, but the hose itself, it will pop off if you pull on it too hard. You know, that's going to happen a lot with any other system. I would have liked to see that maybe like a quick lock would have been nice on the back of this too, to hook to the hose. Maybe in the near future, they'll come out with like an adapter for that. But for me, a lot of my projects, when I do massive sanding, I try to wait until the spring or summertime and do those outside. And I don't really need a vac system hooked up to this anyways. For testing purposes, I was trying it with the vac system. And the vac system I was using, it was the M18, their new 6-gallon wet dry vac too. So that's the unit I was using. I wonder if I try other shop vacs, if I will get the same results with that. Let me know in the comments below what you think about this. Like and subscribe if you haven't done so. I'm Philip Bridges, and I will see you guys on the next one.